Have you ever been deathly ill? Like sick to the point where you thought the end was near? Or maybe the end was, in fact, near for you, but God spared you and you're still here today to talk about it. I fortunately have not been to that point. I've had COVID. I had the flu way worse than I had COVID, even though I had COVID for almost 2 weeks, a fever for almost 2 weeks. I remember when I had the flu, though, I was in my mid-20s. I think that was the worst because I had to take care of myself. So trying to operate on my own as a mid-20-something, not knowing what I was doing. I remember that being the worst I've ever been, but I never felt like I was on the verge of death. My point is, Jesus felt, even though there was nothing physically wrong with him yet, emotionally, spiritually, he could feel the weight of the world because he who had no sins was bearing the sins of the world to be a sacrifice for us, to give us the opportunity to have eternity with him in heaven because of what he did on the cross. Keep in mind what he was going through during his final hours, thinking about what was to come. Yes, he was focused on the joy that was set before him, but he was also very much in the clear about what it took to get to that joy, what he would have to experience physically, emotionally, spiritually, what he would have to endure. And so, it was so heavy. He told his disciples, I feel like I'm on the verge of death right now. This was probably one of his hardest moments, even right up there with being persecuted and actually being crucified. The process had started right then and there when he was in Gethsemane with his disciples. He could feel the weight of the world at that point. But yet, at that point, he was still practicing the disciplines that he wants us all to practice. It says when he felt this way, he fell to his face and started to pray. And his prayer was a request to God the Father to take this cup from him, to provide another way of judgment, to provide another way for him to save us. Obviously, he went through with God's will because he said, not my will, but your will be done. And so Jesus remained focused on the task at hand. God did not provide another way because during those times, a sacrifice had to take place. A perfect sacrifice had to be placed, but it was only a temporary fix. The sacrifices that was made prior to Jesus' sacrifice. Jesus was the perfect and ultimate and final sacrifice made for each and every one of us to step into a relationship with God the Father and have eternity with him. But we have to put our faith in him and be obedient to him. Not just say we believe, because again, the demons, the devil, they believe, but they obviously were not and are not obedient to God. And so among my reminders today is, again, to practice the disciplines in good times and bad. Prayer being one of the best ways to connect with God. But also, fill yourself with gratitude, knowing that Jesus went through with what he went through, even though he really did not want to. Not I will, but your will, he said. So it was God's will, and he went through with it. For me, for you, to have a relationship with him for now and eternity.